this move is so big and requires so much focus. And when I do it, it will make all the other little ideas that are in my notebook easier. So I've got to go for this big thing. And I just think it's knowing that. I think there's an intuitive thing about being a creative that you just start to, you trust your intuition. You start to say, okay, every idea here will live. They will see the time of day. But some of them need more time than others.
Hey everybody, my name is Aubree Danielle and welcome back to Cake and Company, the show where cake meets conversation. Today's guest is an icon, if I do say so myself. And today we're gonna be learning all about how she went from child actor to executive producer. Please help me welcome Andrea Lewis. Good to have you here.
I'm so excited. Thank you.
I'm so excited for you to be here. This is like the coolest thing I've ever done, you being here. I swear, I am such a fan of you. I'm such a fan of your work.
Thank you.
From childhood to now. Like, you are such an incredible woman.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm excited to get into this.
Please.
Now, have you ever decorated a cake before at all?
Never.
No?
Not at all.
No, like any experience with cooking or baking or anything?
Well, cooking, yeah, I do a lot of cooking. And baking, I guess, like, you know, like the simple stuff, like, you know, like the box kind of thing, or like just something that's like cut up and put it on.
Got it.
Like, so my cake decorating experience is really like very simple, not like, okay, extensive cake decorating. Because I kind of see baking as like a very special skill versus cooking. I'm just a natural foodie, so cooking is like, you're gonna figure it out as you go. But baking, I'm like, oh, I don't even touch that. I'm like, that's for the people that know what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel you on that. But for me too, it's kind of a thing where I like cooking in that way because I get to be more creative. But I kind of like more of the decorating side of baking because I get to be more creative. It's not as like precise with measurements and stuff. So
do you know how to draw as well? Is that like, do the two things correlate?
No, like yes and no.
Okay.
I think maybe better than average.
Okay.
But not like, I'm not like an artist in that way. That's kind of how I started doing things, like sketching and stuff. And then it moved to like food. So,
oh, that makes sense to me.
Okay, so we can go ahead and get started.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get you started on the cake.
I'm like, what is getting started?
Then we'll get into the convo.
Okay.
So first, I'm gonna have you grab this little spatula.
Okay.
Right here.
Yep.
And then grab some buttercream.
Okay.
In front of you.
Got it.
And then we're gonna put the buttercream on the plate.
Was this like a little bit too much? What I've just
No,
done?
you're good.
Okay.
It just sticks the cake to the board.
Yes, I have seen this. I actually do watch these kind of tutorials because I find them very relaxing. So I'm like, I have seen this step.
That's what a lot of people say. It's like really satisfying.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go ahead and grab your first layer of cake. And then put that on the board. Just, you got it.
Yeah.
Not you skipping ahead of me. Oh my gosh.
I know the tutorial's coming in. I'm like, I know this process.
So now what I'm gonna have you do, we have some Oreo buttercream.
Yay!
Right here. And it's really yummy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put some on, or we can both grab some,
Okay.
Grab a little dollop, just like that.
Oh, that's a little dollop, got it.
Medium dollop.
Medium dollop, okay.
Just like that, and then put it right in the middle.
Okay.
This part is kind of up to you as far as like how much you want to put, because it's just for the actual filling of our cake.
Oh, do you have to spread it out to the sides? Because I've literally already started
so I'm gonna pause you right there, and then I'm gonna have you, you can set your spatula aside.
Love it.
And then we're gonna end up using this one to spread it out.
That makes sense.
Yeah, this one, it doesn't like drag as much on the cake. So while you're spreading that out, you can just spread it to the edges.
Okay.
Just like this. And while we're doing this, I'd love to get into your journey and your story.
Please.
Yeah, so tell me, go back to the beginning.
Please
tell me about your life as a young actor, how that came to be. Obviously, you know, we all know and love you from Degrassi.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to know, was that like one of your first roles, or how did that come to be?
No, it was, I actually started in the business when I was a toddler, like literally 2 years old. My mom was approached by a casting director in a mall. When she was with me, I was a year old, and
a little bit more.
The same. I was like, this is a little too thin. And she didn't know anybody that was acting or did anything like that, like even like baby modeling. She was not familiar. But she took the woman's card and she was like, okay, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. The next year she was on maternity leave again with my brother. And so she had more time and she was like, I'm gonna call this woman. And she remembered us. And so I started doing commercial work and print and I was just kind of like in the business. And I was always though like an entertainment baby. Like I loved the arts. So it's like acting and music and dance. I just like doing it. My parents didn't have to force me. That was a part of who I was. And then I just progressed and progressed and progressed. And it was like from commercials to small speaking roles to daughter in a movie to just like different things. I did the Natalie Cole story before I got to Degrassi. I did another movie called A Holiday Romance with Naomi Judd. I did a movie called Down in the Delta. That was my Angelo's directorial debut. And these were all before I got to Degrassi. But it was kind of like, it was literally for me like chicken or the egg. I don't remember a day in my life where I didn't want to do those things. And I was just very privileged. I always tell people this, that like my mom was approached by somebody that was legit, because that can happen and it can be a total scam.
Yeah.
And it brought me into the business.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to Degrassi though, I'd been acting for quite a while. I was a teenager, and at the time though when I was auditioning for Degrassi, I was also auditioning for a movie called Cadet Kelly that a lot of people know me from on Disney.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up. I was like, you were on.
Yeah, but both were happening at the same time. I ended up booking Cadet Kelly before Degrassi, because Degrassi had like just a long auditioning process. So did Cadet Kelly, but and so I went and did that. That filmed for the summer, and then when I was finished that, my agent called me and was like, I don't know if you remember Degrassi that you were auditioning for. And Degrassi, just for context, is a legacy show in Canada. Like, it's been on since the 80s.
Yeah.
So it has like all these different journeys. And so I was familiar, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, they have a part for you if you want to come. They were halfway through their first season, and it was for this part of Hazel who was going to be Paige's friend. And I was like, sure. And that's how my Degrassi journey started.
That is so cool. You are like so seasoned in the industry. Oh my gosh, you've done so much. I think that's so cool. Like you were saying, like we're in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
And that's just kind of how it came to be. But also, do you ever feel like it's one of those things where that's where you were meant to be, more so than just like a random interaction?
Oh, no, 100%. I never had other ambitions. Like, I really, I was very lucky that my creativity was very like fostered in my community, and with my parents, with my family, with my friends. One of my best friends, I met her on my first day of school, and we always tell people, I'm like, she met me as an actress. I was already acting, even though we were like only 4 years old. Like, I was already in my career and my career, right? But like my teachers, everybody just allowed me to be this thing, and no one made it weird. And so I was like, I remember like I had one thing at school, and somebody had asked me like, what other thing would you be? I remember just making something up. I was like, maybe a pediatrician? Like, that is a lie. I have no ambitions for that.
Right,
like,
I've always wanted this.
Like I am in the thing that I wanted to do. So I think more so than anything, it's like, it's the progression of creativity. It's like, where, do you want to create your own stuff? Do you want to write your own stuff? Do you want to produce your own stuff? Where do you want to live in the world if you're doing this? Because I grew up in Toronto, and Toronto has a bustling film and television community and just work there. But you progress, and you're like, okay, where do I want to go to LA? Do I want to go to New York? And those were the things that I had to kind of decide versus like deciding my career.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I kind of have a similar story. I'm gonna have you grab this while I chat. You can just put this on and then do the same step that we did the first time, just layering the buttercream in the middle. Okay. And I'm gonna have you put a little bit more this time.
I know.
To give you
I'm
some
looking at yours. I was like, wait a second.
To give you a little bit more height. Yeah. So I'm gonna grab some as well, and we can grab some of the vanilla too if it's not enough.
Okay.
And just kind of like mix it in.
Okay.
But yeah, I have a very similar story in that way, where my parents and everyone around me just supported me like to the max.
Yeah.
Like I was given like my first KitchenAid mixer when I was like 12, I think.
I love that.
Yeah, to like support my dreams, and that's one thing I always tell people who have like talented children. Just
Like, let them do it.
Yes, let them do it. My parents let me try everything.
Yes.
Literally everything. Yeah. And it was never a thing where, like, they felt like, oh, if I wanted to try something different, like, no, you have to stick to this.
Yes,
you know?
That's how mine was too.
Yeah,
and it makes such a difference because you are getting to just kind of freely play in this space versus feeling like, if I don't do this, I'm going to disappoint this one and this one and this one. It's like, I always tell people, like, if there's one key to, like, oh, you have a kid that you want to put into the business, please just let it be for fun. Let it be just like, if they decide one day they don't want to do this thing, they do not have to do this thing.
And let them explore.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Is this enough, or should I use some of the buttercream?
I'm going to have you use some of that one, but use a clean one just so we don't dirty up the, So I didn't make enough of the Oreo, so we're going to add a little vanilla in there.
That's okay.
And we can just add it just to give us some more height.
Yep.
But yeah, I totally get you. I'm the same way, and my parents were the same way. They just let me explore and play and figure out what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that. Like, I hope to be the same way with my kids.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think of it as, like, you were very privileged? I always explain it to people as, like, I was incredibly privileged. I never want anybody to feel like that's just the norm.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I was really supported.
Yeah, I would say so, actually. Yeah, I do think I was privileged in that way for sure.
Yeah.
Also just privileged in the way of having a supportive family coming from a 2-parent home. Like, not that that's the only way you can be successful, but, those things matter.
Yeah.
And having that, like, unwavering support where they didn't question me, they didn't push me into, like, doing something more or less or anything. They just really let me explore.
I'm looking at yours. Should I be doing the same, like, kind of flipping it over?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have you flip that last one over just like that.
Okay.
And then perfect, just like that. You can kind of even it out, like, with your
hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, your turntable's a little lower, so it's gonna look.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a tall girl, so
I was like, I think she's a tall girl.
Yeah.
I'm a small girl.
So yeah, yours is looking good though.
Okay.
You can kind of, I'm gonna help you out a little bit. Just
Please.
Even it out.
Please.
There you go.
Okay.
Now, since we're talking about, like, parents and stuff in the industry, I know that it's a big topic of conversation when it comes to your parents being in the picture, especially in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, no. So I grew up in the same. I had a 2-parent household. My parents had full-time jobs. I think about this all the time. I have no idea how they did this. I grew up in the suburbs of Toronto. And auditions and things like that happened like in the heart of the city. And they would happen at, like, very wild time. They happen at, like, 4:00 in the day. And you're like, what? Like, on a Wednesday, you've got to get your kids down to this audition. You work. I don't know how they did this. I still don't know. But yeah, my parents were just fully involved.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'd have to be on set. They'd have to kind of flip-flop between, like, who was going to do what, because it is a full day. And my mom always says, she's like, being on set is super boring. It really is. It's a hurry up and wait type of life. And that is not ideal. Only as you start to get older and you got to really trust the people around can you, like, kind of assign somebody to be, like, the guardian for the day. But again, it's like you've got to really trust the people. And I know, like, yes, there's lots of kind of horror stories when it comes to being a child actor, and that really does happen in terms of just exploitation. But I was just really fortunate. My parents kept it really easy. And we were fortunate too that, like, they had the time, they could take time off of work to come on set with me for something, and they could drive me to this thing, and also they taught me. So I remember when I could take myself downtown and my brother and I would go, and now that was us, and we were really responsible. But I had friends that I grew up with that didn't have that. Like, my mom would be like, oh no, Andrea can get on the train herself and do the thing, and they'd be like, oh no, like, my daughter can't do something like that. And it was like, I've been doing that forever. But that's because it was like I grew up in a way where we were committed to this journey, and I was very committed to it from a young age. I used to feel very frustrated as a little girl because I always wanted to be an adult because I just was so ready for, like, all the adult things to happen within this business. So yeah.
I'm like the opposite. I was always like, I want to stay a child.
Really?
Yes, I'm like that to this day. Like, not that I want to be a kid, but I'm like that in the way of every time my birthday comes around, I'm like, oh my God. Like,
really?
No, yes. I think it just scares me being, like, young and successful.
Okay.
It's scary, like, especially my whole shtick, like, from when I was younger was that, like, I'm a kid baker, I'm a kid this, I'm a kid that, and then all of a sudden I wasn't a kid anymore.
Yeah, now
and so
you're like, I'm an adult baker.
Right, so, like, now what am I, you know?
Yeah,
but, like,
a baker.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true. I think when you do have a part of your success or even your existence where your youth is highlighted, it can feel intimidating to grow up.
Yeah.
Or what does that look like? Like, what does that come with? Are people not going to see me as so special because I'm not as young anymore?
Yeah.
And that's something that every person has to deal with in terms of growing up and aging, but I think it's even harder when like success is attached to it. So that makes sense.
Yeah. It's definitely something I've like worked through in therapy.
Okay.
A lot of it.
Okay, good.
But I definitely feel like there's a lot of pressure for sure, like when you're younger, but also I'm only 23.
Hello.
And I remember someone saying one time, I think on TikTok, someone was like, think about this, like when you're 25, you're only a 5-year-old adult.
It's
like,
true.
What do you know at 5 years old?
You don't know anything.
Yeah.
And you know what? When I was 23, I used to feel that pressure specifically at those ages too. Like something about it, it's like harder to navigate like who you are getting older and what that looks like and what that means. But it's legitimately better.
Yeah.
Like legitimately better.
So I've heard. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the future.
Hello.
Okay, so we are gonna get started on what's called the crumb coat.
Okay.
So this is kind of like a thin coat of buttercream. It locks in all the crumbs.
Okay, this.
Yes.
Got it.
We're gonna take a little dollop of this.
Okay.
And put it right on top.
Okay.
And then like
I'm dirtied up. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. All of these like little crumbs and stuff that are falling off is gonna get trapped in this layer.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
This part. I think I'm actually most intimidated by this part.
It's okay. This is the part where you get to like play around and like get a feel for it before we do the final layer. You know?
And this is where we'd use this? No.
So we're going to be using the spatula here for this. Yeah, same thing. So we're going to be pushing it into the cake and using a good amount of pressure to kind of like lock everything in.
Yep.
And once it kind of goes on the sides like that, you can kind of grab it and start pushing it into the sides of the cake.
Oh, okay. So I legitimately don't have enough.
Yeah. So what else? So keep that amount on for now. And instead of like spreading it like this, I'm going to have you kind of angle it up to the side and kind of scrape off.
Oh,
that's
and
how
then
you
go to the side.
It. Yep.
Got it.
Most people put too much at this point, and it's just a waste because we're just going to end up scraping most of it off, and then it's all crummy with cake. So then we can't use it, you know?
You know what is like fascinating me right now is like every time I see these tutorials, this part looks so seamless for people. Right now, I'm literally feeling like as if I don't know how to use this. I'm like, wait.
It's
like,
okay. I didn't know you were left-handed.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, is my hand not working?
I might have to teach you a little bit differently because I remember I was teaching a class one time, and this woman in the class was struggling. She was trying to use her right hand.
Oh,
yeah,
and she's a lefty.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, well, why don't you use your left hand?
No. Yeah, I'm like a real lefty.
Yeah.
I'm like, I always say I'm a lefty and a Leo, me and Barack Obama. But like right now, I'm like, how do they do this? But I'm like, no, you're practiced. Like your hand is strong, mine is not.
Lots of practice. I feel like a lot of people don't really know like how much pressure, how much, you know, and that's really the main part that we're focusing on. It's just the amount of pressure to use.
Because like, look at yours looking so perfect and beautiful. And like, that's how I feel some people actually like their cake looking like this, right? Like as a decor.
Yeah. Some people, like you're saying as like the final cake.
Yes.
It's called a naked cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of gives like a rustic kind of vibe.
Yep.
But yeah, some people do. I've made a few wedding cakes like that.
Yes, that's where I usually see it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have you, don't add any more buttercream on at this point, just keep kind of scraping. And then another thing I'll have you do once you kind of cover it.
Okay.
Once you use this little plastic scraper here.
Okay.
It collects buttercream on here.
And then makes it easier.
And then you kind of scrape it off, see?
Yep.
And then you just put it back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you tell me when I should get to that, when I should graduate.
We're gonna take a minute doing this. You know, we're gonna
I'm like
keep chatting, and you don't, you're not in any type of rush. So,
okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be scored on a test afterwards.
No,
okay, good.
No, not at all. It's just we're going to get to eat it, and it's going to be delicious, and you're going to get to take it home and show everyone the beautiful taste you made. But while we're doing this, I wanted to ask you, since we were talking about like pressure as like a, being a successful kid, I wanted to ask you, like, being on such a successful franchise, did that come with pressure for like what's next and like that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think indirectly, I think it still does. Like, I think one of the things that you discover is like that it's kind of this never-ending, it's this never-ending show. Like Degrassi, quite literally, one has like not ended for people. People can still watch it, and the fan base is really strong. Every year, it feels like the fan base gets younger and younger for it, which fascinates me.
Like me?
Yeah, no, legitimately.
It's crazy. It's like one of my comfort shows.
I tell my friends that I'm like, every year I meet somebody who like would not have been watching it at the time when it was on.
Well, I wouldn't have. I was barely born.
Yeah, that's what I was like. No, it's like legitimately a younger and younger audience, which I find really interesting. And no, when I was 16, if you had told me like 20 years from now people are still going to be talking to you about this show, I would have been like, what are you talking about? Like, no, like that would not have been a thing. And so I do think there's an element of pressure in terms of recognizing that you have grown up, you have advanced in your life, you don't have to remain this thing for that audience. You can appreciate that they still love it, but you don't have to feel like stuck. Yeah, or like, oh, that's the only space that I am validated. Yeah. And I think that is like a real learning curve, which is oftentimes, why sometimes you might see child actors really struggle with their confidence, or even just like where they fit in the world or what they should be talking about. And I often think it's because, like there's an element of your life where you've been validated based on stuff you did when your frontal cortex wasn't even developed, when you weren't even yourself. And so
that's a good way of putting it.
You're kind of like, oh, well, who am I to myself, but who am I even to this audience?
True.
Would they like me now? Will they kind of go with me now? And I think it doesn't even matter. To be fair, I'm like, if they will, they will. If they don't, they don't. It doesn't matter. You live your life. Yeah. And so I do think, yes, you have that pressure. But I think if you're in the entertainment fields, or I don't know, I just think if you're a person who wants success, then every job makes you feel like, okay, what's the next thing? And sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes it's like, I actually need a break from this, or I need to try something new, or I want to see something new. And I just think that's being in entertainment in general.
Yeah, I love, that was a beautiful way of putting it. And I definitely understand that. I've never thought about that, actually, about, you were saying being validated for something you did when you weren't even like yourself
you're not yourself. Yeah.
When I think about myself at 13, I'm like, no, you don't know anything. You
don't know anything.
Like, I don't even know who that was.
I don't know who that girl is. Yeah. I mean, I can honor her, and I can validate her now as an adult, like to be like, oh, you were trying your best, or you know, like, great, I'm so proud of that version of myself. But I can't tell you why she made any of the decisions that she made. I can't, and so it's like a real interesting experience to meet people who know that version of you, feel very close to that version of you, and you're like, oh, I can't even remember what I was doing like last week. Much less that girl, and why she felt the way she felt or what she was doing. But at the same time, like, it's great. And I think it's a fascinating thing. It's like, I always tell people, I get recognized every day for Degrassi. And I think that's hilarious, because you're like, oh, but I was like a little baby girl. And you're like, I guess that's just the way that goes.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, especially being, like you said, a part of such like an everlasting franchise like that. Like, that's been on forever.
Forever. It doesn't go. And what's funny is, because when I started it when I was a teenager, I had a friend who had an older brother who watched the first one. And I remember when I told her, like, oh, I was going to do, she freaked out, because she was like how you are. Like, she watched it. She was like, oh my gosh, I know that show. And I didn't. I was like, oh, I don't know it like that. So it kind of has that everlasting effect. And I think that's a beautiful thing, to be a part of something that has that effect. Yeah. Technically, as an entertainer, as somebody who tells stories, you're like, that's the goal, is to do something that just kind of lasts. And so to say like, oh yeah, I did something when I was very young, but it's lasted, and that's fun.
Yeah.
I
think that's great that you get to honor that, and you get to give her and that version of yourself respect, and also like grow up.
Yes, at the same time.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how jealous I feel right now looking at yours in comparison to mine. I honestly am like doing my best to not feel true jealousy.
What I'm gonna have you do is pick up your scraper. Actually, it'll kind of help you moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, you can kind of set that aside. And then what we're gonna do is start scraping.
Okay.
Yes. Just like that, and see how it's already getting smoother?
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Yep.
Okay.
And then eventually you can kind of like fill in those little gaps and stuff, and we're gonna do like a final layer of buttercream.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cause see, I don't know if you can see, I've like smushed mine a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's okay. We're gonna do the final layer. We can even that out, and you'll be good.
Okay, I think at the end of this series, you should actually rate who did the best cake out of all of your guests.
Oh, okay.
just like who really could do
like
it.
at like the end of the season
very
or something?
end of the season to be like,
that's a good idea.
like this person killed it. And this person actually did not.
That's kind of scary though.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
I can
why I'm like, am I in the middle?
maybe I should let the audience rate.
Yeah,
that way. That way I'm not like,
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention, I think one thing that's so cool about the show is it feels like I personally think it's one of the best representations of being adolescent.
Yeah.
Yes, I personally feel that way. I feel that a lot of times, even sometimes looking at like older, like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure to look a certain way and act a certain way.
Yeah.
And I feel like Degrassi showed like the honesty of being like
a teenager.
Kind of awkward.
Yeah.
And kind of this and not knowing that, like, I love that about it.
Yes, that's pretty much what a lot of people feel like in terms of that representation, that they really felt very, like that we looked like kids.
Yeah.
And we were, like in especially at that time, early 2000s, oftentimes when somebody was played a teen, they were really in their 20s.
Like in Greece,
yes.
they were like 30.
Yeah, like they were like legitimately older.
Yes.
And on Degrassi, we were not. We were like maybe at most a year or two older than your character, but that's just because of how TV works, right? Like when you look 10, like you could probably play 8. Like when you look 12, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. And so yeah, we really were within age and within that experience. So the awkwardness that you would feel, we really are feeling because you're a kid. So you're like, I'm trying out new things with my hair, or I'm not, or my skin's gonna break out, or oh, I might need braces, or I don't. Like, you were a real life kid, but at the same time, also kid actors oftentimes book work based on looking like real kids. So yeah, I think they just did a great job in their casting, that like all of us were working actors, but at the same time we were also kids that look like kids. So,
Gotcha. Yeah. I love that so much. And I wanted to talk to you as well as you're kind of doing some more scraping and smoothing.
I'm like, tell me.
And I can help you out also if you want. Like, I don't.
I'm like,
would you like me to?
am I giving in? Am I throwing in the towel from now?
No. You're good. This is definitely. I mean,
yes, I would like to.
Even if you've never, especially being that you've never done this before, like, it's okay. I don't remember what my first cake looked like, but I'm sure it wasn't great. But I wanted to talk to you about being a young Black girl in that position, in that space. I would love to know like what that was like for you. Also, being one of the only ones on the show. What was that experience like?
I mean, television at that time was so different. Like where I think Black audiences plus Black entertainers knew that you would often come into shows as like the best friend. You would come in to like facilitate the story of often the white leads, and kind of hope that they expand you or whatever that could be. And so that was very much Hazel. As I said, like literally my agent said they want to bring you on as Paige's best friend. So especially in season 1, I was like very aware that all of my scenes were going to be with Lauren Collins, who was played by Paige. And I was also used to that. Like a lot of my work as a young Black actress was as best friend. On Cadet Kelly, I was the best friend. Like everything I did was like token Black girl within the space. But I'll also say this, I was a TV like consumer. So any Black girl I saw on TV, I was excited for her. Like, I was Gabrielle Union in anything. I was obsessed with Tia and Tamara. Like, so that understanding of like seeing those roles and how they made me feel, even if the girl was just beside her the whole time, and then playing a character where she was like that, I understood what that was. But at the exact same time, like I said, I had been in the business my whole life. So by the time I got to Degrassi, I was very seasoned as a kid, but I never felt like Hazel got to shine or got to really do enough, considering that representation was such a big part of what the show was. And so I felt like they genuinely dropped the ball when it came to true representation of Black kids, kids of color, of like what their existence
and experience was.
Really was. But I do think, yes, they covered a very wide net in terms of just what it was like to be a teenager, the pressures of sexuality and understanding and going to a party and drinking and things like that. Great job. But the nuance of race,
dropped the ball.
Oh my gosh, big time. But at the same time, I am aware, like I said, that like I know that like Hazel represented something for Black girls that look like me. Just getting to see someone in that space be on your screen. And I was also that little Black girl watching TV, and any little girl like that I saw, I felt that same way. So I'm honored by that responsibility, but also recognize that like now that would never have flown, because we would be like, she's not allowed to be like, she's not saying anything, she's not doing anything. And to this day, my mom and I will watch something, we'll be like, they're getting the Hazel treatment, not enough talking, not enough story, not enough this, not enough that. And I think it's unfortunate too that like, I think there's been a lot of excuses made in terms of, from the Degrassi franchise, in terms of why they weren't able to cover that representation of like, oh, being an actor was a privilege and there wasn't enough Black kids. That's like a complete false, because like, I was watching TV, I saw Black kids on TV all the time. But at the same time, it's like hopefully you know better, so you do better. And I do recognize that, yes, in the early 2000s, you could get away with just having a Black face beside like the white lead, and she just kind of is there being cute.
Just for like the sake of representation. No, I feel that. I also, my sister and I joke about this all the time. I'm Jamaican.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So am I.
I know. I did my research.
Wait, are you Jamaican, mama?
No, my dad's Jamaican. But we joke about all the time the episode where you were Jamaican.
Pretending to be Jamaican.
Yes, and it's crazy to me that you never got like a full storyline.
I know, because even that story wasn't Hazel's story.
In the only episode that was your storyline, you were racist.
Yes, it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
That is crazy.
It made no sense. And at the time, that's how I felt. I was like, that's crazy. Also, in a city like Toronto is wildly diverse, one of the most diverse cities in North America.
Really? Okay.
So it's like, everybody, you get to see everything there. You get to see every kind of person. Toronto has a massive West Indian community. So I was like, it's just too unrealistic to me to have a group of friends who would not know your ethnic background. And it would never cross over at any point. Because I was like, I grew up Italian, Filipino, Jewish, Ukrainian. At some point, we're all at each other's house having to have food. We're all having to experience each other's culture. And so while I understand that, yes, at the time, the conversation was just around the unfair treatment of Muslim kids in schools, because you had 9/11, you had things like that. But at the same time, I was like,
it was a crazy way to go about that.
It was a crazy way to go about it. It's like, to this day. And also, too, what was very like, it was just, oh my God, it was such an experience for me. Because yes, I love being West Indian. I truly do. It's one of my favorite things about myself. My mom's from Jamaica. My dad is from St. Vincent. I grew up in a very traditional Caribbean household. So it's like, it's my everything. So when I read that script, I was heartbroken. Because I was like, why would that be her
choice?
thing? And then what was even funnier is, I'm like, in that episode too, at some point, like Hazel goes and gets like jerk chicken from somebody. And that man that she gets it from actually went to high school with my grandpa in St. Vincent.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, wow. That's a crazy crazy connection.
Isn't that so wild? So anyway, like I said, so I felt very like, just,
kind of like torn and...
because Hazel didn't get enough story. So you, in one you know, in one part of it, you're like, great, I'm getting to act, I'm getting to tell, I'm getting to speak, I'm getting to do something other than just like kind of be beside the girl. In another, you're like, the black girl is the racist girl?
Yeah.
Really?
Really? Yeah. Of all
the people here,
right?
That's the one who's gonna be the racist girl.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
And then at the same time too, like I said, the show is based in Toronto, and Toronto has a massive West Indian community. Large part of it being Jamaican. Jamaicans are very proud of being Jamaican.
Yeah.
And so you're like, yeah, why couldn't Hazel have been West Indian?
Right, yeah.
And why couldn't she have met that girl, and that girl tells her story, and
that been what they're, yeah.
But I wasn't a writer. I was a teenager.
Yes.
I was a teenager figuring it out like everybody else. So yeah.
So I want to ask, well, okay, we can kind of keep going while we're talking about this. So what I'll have you do actually is wipe off this spatula just so that it's clean.
Okay.
And then we're going to put some more buttercream on here and get to smoothing it out.
Okay.
So this time, I want you to put a lot more on there.
Okay.
Just so that you're not getting the crummy buttercream all in there. So drop it on just like that. Don't like spread it out.
Yep.
And then when you're spreading it, I'm not really using a lot of pressure at all. I'm just kind of using light pressure to kind of like manipulate the buttercream and put it where I want it to go, honestly.
Yep.
Not much like scraping and smoothing, more so just like putting it around the cake.
Okay.
And then we're gonna smooth out the buttercream with the scraper.
Okay. So you're just kind of moving it.
Yes, just kind of moving it around, just kind of placing it where I want it to be, letting it fall over the edge of the cake.
Yep.
And then like lightly touching it and moving it down like that.
Okay.
And also if this position is kind of awkward, you can kind of do what you're doing here and just kind of like move it down like this.
Yep.
Perfect. So yeah, we can do that while we keep chatting.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you now, like as an adult,
Yep.
And any maybe advice you can give to anyone watching for how to have more agency in a position like that, or not being afraid to speak up, or how you would like deal with a situation like that now as an adult actress.
To be fair, I'd actually deal with it the same way I did as a teenager. I used to speak up all the time. I used to complain all the time.
Okay.
And the only difference that I would have now is I probably would maybe be just a little, actually I'll take that back. I'd do the same thing I did then. Because I'm like, yeah, back then I used to say something. And I think more than anything is you don't have to feel like your options are limited. I think sometimes we feel stuck. We're in a certain position and we think, oh, I guess I have to deal with this. I have to stay here. I have to do this and that. And I think I felt like that a lot. But at the same time, I would speak up. And I think if anything, it's like everything is problem solving. And I think back then I didn't necessarily know problem solving. And I did a film a couple years ago, and we had an intimacy coordinator on set, and she was telling me she was like, yeah, talk about your yeses versus your nos. Tell us what you want to do versus instead of just, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, And I always think about that now, and I'm like, yeah, even back then with situations where you're like, I'm not that happy. I wish I had had the foresight to kind of go in and be like, can we consider these storylines? Can we talk about these things instead? But that just was not the experience that I was having.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but I used to say something. I'm a fire sign. I used to say something. So,
I feel like when I was like doing my digging and everything, the things that you were saying and like the different things that I would watch you in, I was like, we have so much in common. And I was like, when is her birthday? So I looked it up. Yeah. I'm an Aquarius.
Hey, that's just
so I know. I know. I was like, oh, it's a Leo. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely, I'm not an actress, but I'm sure if I was in that position, like, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah, like, you try your best. It's like you can only do so much, and I think that was my experience a lot on that show. Was like I was definitely going to say something, If they do something now, I have no control over that. And that's TV.
Yeah.
You know, you could easily say to somebody, I'm not really that happy with this or with that, and hope somebody adjusts. You see that with hair and makeup, you see that with your clothes. All you can do is say something and speak up. But I really do advise, even for young girls who are ever in a position of Hazel, you just got to speak up.
Yeah.
You don't want to look back on those days and think, man, I wish I said something. What I'd rather is these kinds of stories where I'm like, I actually did speak up.
Yeah.
Did they do anything? No. And there's nothing I can really do about that.
Yeah, but at least you did stand up for yourself.
Yeah, and I look at I try to focus on the positive. I'm like, at the end of the day, like in the early 2000s, I was the black girl on a show.
Yeah.
For young black girls. And that is all that I would ever have dreamed of being, is just being in those positions. Because like I said, I myself grew up watching those black girls and was really excited to see them and really happy. And so to get any opportunities like that always made me feel like, okay, I'm
doing my job.
I'm doing my job. I'm doing my duty. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. The representation has always been really, really important to me. And I just grew up like that. My mom and I, we like loved fashion. We loved watching stuff like that. And any black model, we'd be like, oh, and like any. If she looked like you, if she didn't, it did not matter.
Yeah.
We were like, that woman there, like black, that's us. And so that's how I saw any of the positions I was in as an actress, was like, that's how I hope another black girl sees me.
Yeah, absolutely. And representation is so, so important. I mean, we could have a whole episode just about that itself. But you definitely were that. And you were like the it girl on the show. So, I feel like you did
She
your
had
job.
some good things, you know what I mean? It's like her hair was always done. It's like stuff like that. Like, Lauren and I still had a lot of fun being Paige and Hazel because it was like, we were not like that as teenagers. So it was, but we had a lot of similarities to each other. But we were not like those girls that were like, ugh.
Like mean girls.
Yeah, we were not that at all. So we just had fun playing them.
Yeah, no, I feel that. That's so cool. Okay, so
like, look at me. What is happening?
So you know how you mentioned that naked cake design?
Yeah.
I think that's the direction we're gonna take yours.
She's out of. Sorry. Okay, so I'm actually. I'm gonna take back the suggestion I gave you. Don't rate these cakes at the end of this season.
Okay, I won't. Promise.
Because where am I?
It's okay. We're gonna turn it into a naked cake, and it's gonna be really cute. Okay, I'm gonna help you out.
Okay.
If you're gonna dump the buttercream, dump it in that one, just so that we don't mess this up.
Okay.
But you're not at the point of no return. Okay, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna get this going. And I promise if I rate the cake,
I'm feeling like Mrs. Doubtfire right now. Like that's the scene. I'm just like, what is happening? How do I fix this?
We're gonna help you out, and then we're gonna add some flowers and decor and stuff at the end, and make it all nice and pretty.
Oh my god.
But it's supposed to be fun.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yes.
Like, it's just a whole lot of fun. So, yeah. So we talked a lot about child acting and everything, but you've done so much since then. So I want to get into kind of where you are now and what that timeline looked like from being a child actor to now, producer, and tell me all about that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I always knew, like I said, I think because of my experience, especially like with Degrassi, with just everything, where you just knew like, yes, representation really matters, and the only person who's going to be able to tell those stories is you. So I knew from a very young age that I wanted to produce, that I wanted to create. I always say this, I read an amazing article from Reese Witherspoon, maybe when I was like 14, and Reese Witherspoon talked about being a woman in Hollywood and the fact that she herself had to produce and create a lot of her own work just because of how women were being represented. And I always remember thinking like, Reese Witherspoon is like a blonde, blue-eyed, like all-American looking white woman. Yeah. And she too is feeling like misrepresented. So somebody like me is going to, I'm going to have no choice but to do that. And I was just very inspired by her story, just how she was. She too was a child actor. So that was always my thought early on. But this was before like the internet. This is before like you could create for yourself. And I was like, okay, like what am I going to do? Like what's my, like how am I going to do it? I know one day I'll do it. Don't know when that day will happen. I ended up doing this film for Nickelodeon, and I had just like a lot of microaggressive experiences on this set. And came out of it and was like, okay, it's actually time now. and I started writing and just trying to figure this thing out. And my friend and I started like making content for the internet. And we literally, I always say we were like in producer boot camp without us realizing it, because we were making content like 5 days out of the week. We were learning about audience. We were learning about how to pitch ourselves. We were learning about like how to find our everything, like all the resources, how to put them all together. And it really just kind of shaped me, because I took my TV film experience and then my, I guess, scrappiness of being just a young girl and put them together. And next thing I knew, I was a creator.
Yeah.
And my first real entry was my web series Black Actress. And at the time, it was like we were in the web series era. So people were, Black filmmakers specifically, were writing stories that they wanted to see, but they were not getting greenlit by the studios. And they were putting them to the internet and just being like, I'm going to make it, I'm going to see, I'm just going to get an audience, I'm going to figure it out. And I honestly loved it. It was hard. It was so hard, but it was fun. It was like I did crowdfunding and I just did all this stuff to really learn and figure stuff out. And I remember just asking every single person for a favor, like, and that's kind of what gave me my confidence in being a producer. Yeah. And then from there, I just kind of told any story I really wanted to tell. To be honest, it was like any story. I was like, I'm gonna do something with this, and it's brought me to just kind of who I am, which is why I tell people, like, even my journey into telling beauty stories was I was living in Brooklyn, and I was just inspired by Black women. I saw so many, and I think also just my own experience with representation, where I'm like, I see so much beauty in Black women. Media didn't always highlight that. Sets don't always highlight that, all of those kinds of things. And so I was like, I'm gonna tell this story. My experience in this business has been one where I just champion the things that I don't think people are giving room for or giving a highlight to. And so that's really how that's really my storytelling journey, where I'm just like, I focus heavily on representation and what that looks like. And now out of nowhere, one day you look up and you're like, you're a full producer. Yeah,
crazy. I love that, pipeline and storyline that you were telling me about. Can you tell me about the Black Beauty Effect on Netflix, as well as your other show? Or new show?
The Black Beauty Effect, it's my 3-part docuseries on Netflix. And it's about the game changers of Black beauty. It's about like the from the beauty editors to the hair and makeup celebrity stylists to the influencer, kind of that full diagram. And like I said, my career put me into this like intersection where I've seen beauty from a very early age, because I get to be on set. So there's always somebody doing your makeup. There's always somebody doing your hair. So I've seen the good and the bad. I've seen somebody who knows what they're doing. I've seen somebody who doesn't. I've seen the glam for a red carpet versus being on set, all of those things. And then I'm a consumer. So it's like, I always say, I'm like, I got to see the very beginning of the natural hair movement online, and the OG YouTubers and these people. And I saw how important all of these people were in making us feel seen despite what popular media told us. And if you took us back into history, I was like, ancestrally, this is just what we do. Like from Africa to the West Indies to Latin America, all of us in the diaspora, this is our thing. We find a way when there is no way. So I just knew that I wanted to tell this story, and I started working on it. I really started working on it maybe 2017, kind of like bubbling is what I'll say. But then when I really got going with it, it was the pandemic. And Black Lives Matter started to really come up. And so everybody took a meeting with us, every single studio, every single network. But they all wanted this like civil rights beauty story. And we were like, no, we're making like just a celebratory story about Black beauty. And it literally, for some people, was like, why? And it was like, because Black women just need to see a story where we're like celebrated
about us.
That's it. That's all. It's no trick. There's no drama at the end. That's what we were telling. And we were really lucky. Our first partner was Comcast. She's still my producing partner, Keisha Boyd, who got to hear about this journey the whole time, and she just championed it. Comcast was our producing partner, and then and Netflix loved it, and then we were on Netflix, and so yeah, we're on Netflix in the UK, Canada, the US, and New Zealand, and I love this story. Like I said, I always tell people, I'm like, it's my sweet little baby.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's beautiful. That's a beautiful story, and I loved the documentary.
Thank you.
It was so well done.
Thank you.
And I think it's so cool. You're doing what I hope to do one day. You know, not necessarily with beauty specifically, but just with sharing culture and conversation and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's so real. Like, I think it's Marse Martin who has her, like, No More Black Pain campaign or something like that.
Yeah.
And I love that. We don't need to see more of that. Of course, those stories deserve respect, and they deserve to be shown, and you know, all that stuff. But at the same time, like, I just want to see myself in a way that's celebrated.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, that representation is just as important, and it doesn't have to be like this big draw and like this shock factor. It's like, it's just as important to just see peaceful, happy stories.
Yeah, like, this is enough.
Yeah,
more than enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said, the game changers, I'm obsessed with them. I always tell people I'm like a big fan of like the artists. Like, I love craft, I love skill. So I'm like the makeup artists, the hairstylists, these people, especially like iconic looks, that stuff that like shifts culture.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with those people.
Yeah.
So to be able to like interview them and to talk to them like that, I'm like, that story was literally made for my teenage self. It was hands down for my teenage girl self.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. That you know, ended up making something as an adult that was for your child self and healing your childhood self. I'm the same way when it comes to like glam and makeup and fashion and everything. Like, even when I just was doing my hair a couple days ago and we did this like new cut. We were like, oh my gosh, like Halle Berry and what was it, like Janet Jackson VMAs.
Yes.
So yeah,
easily.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah. And that kind of style is actually really back right now, like Y2K in general, like that kind of vibe and that like time. And so I'm like, I love that like we're going kind of back, but in this updated way. And we do have so much more of an awareness of representation now. So it's like, I love beauty. I always tell people I'm like, I'm a real beauty lover. So even when I was growing up, being in hair and makeup rooms, I rarely had truly a bad experience because I genuinely like beauty. So even if somebody wasn't quite doing it right, I knew I'd go fix it. And I'd also be like, but I used to kind of look at it as like, well, yeah, you just might not know the way I know, kind of thing. And I don't know, I saw all of it as like learning of like, oh, this works for me or that doesn't, or hey, this is a better way to explain it. Even very recently, maybe like 2 years ago, I worked with a producer who was a beauty lover. And we had a hair and makeup test, and she explained to the makeup artist the way she wanted my makeup to look. And I'd never heard a producer explain it like just the way, like how detailed she was and how specific. And I learned something right then and there. I was like, oh, I should do that. I should have more language when I'm in a hair and makeup chair to not to make them feel intimidated, but rather to work with them. So it's forever a learning thing for me.
Can you give like an example of that? Like when it comes to...
so it was literally, so I was doing a hair and makeup test, and hair and makeup tests are like what you do before we're gonna go to picture, like literally go to set and like, okay, so they do kind of a similar thing. They put you in what they think would be your look. They set you up with the lights, maybe even do a little bit of a chemistry. You might even wear some of the clothes just so they could see the color, so that the producers, the studio, whomever could really look and say, yes, this look works. And the makeup artist did their thing and it was fine, but the producer came back in and she was like, no. She was like, actually, I'm looking for her eyebrow to look like this. I want her blush to sit here. I want, like, she was really specific. And I was... Honestly, I'd never felt so cared for because the person saw your face the way you see your face. And oftentimes that's the scary thing with makeup is it's an interpretation. It's somebody looking at you and saying, oh, I'm going to highlight this versus that. It's not always that they're so bad. It's just that they are interpreting your face a different way to how you see it. And this producer, she used to be a makeup artist. So she just knew what she was looking for. So while the first take from the makeup artist was not bad, it just wasn't how she saw me. And so she was able to use certain language that, again, was more collaborative and supportive versus like, oh, this is terrible. And I always think about the artists in that same way, that I'm like, I don't want them to feel like they can't do my face, like they are messing up. I want them to feel like we are in collaboration together. And so I learned, like I said, from this producer, a very supportive language, even in beauty, for something that was not beauty focused.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I love that story. And I'm excited to get more into glam culture.
Oh yeah!
Yes, we're gonna reset a little bit,
Okay.
get some of the decorations on set, and then we'll get all into that.
Okay, let's do it.
Alrighty, so I'm excited to get into this part. So this is my favorite part, the decoration.
Yes.
So I have these little like women silhouettes
Yeah.
that we're gonna use.
Yep,
To
love
put
it.
on the front of our cakes.
Okay.
And this brings us right into talking about glam culture.
Yeah!
Yes, so please tell me all about your new project. I want to hear more.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Put this right on the
So
front.
I'm trying to be as
Sorry,
good
you
as
can put it and then we can start chatting. So you can concentrate. Just wherever feels like good.
Okay, and you place it lightly, right?
Yep, just place it, it'll stick. And then we're going to put flowers on
Got
top.
it,
and it'll give
perfect.
like a flower crown.
Yes, I'm into
Yep.
it. I know exactly what's happening. So yeah, glam culture is, I'm calling it my second beauty story after Black Beauty Effect, which again is a 3-part docuseries on the game changers of Black beauty. And glam culture is honestly like a culmination of my life. I travel a lot. I talk about beauty a lot. I love beauty. And so because of this, I get to see the world through a really specific lens. I get to see a lot of diversity. I have a very eclectic group of friends and really beautiful and amazing ethnic backgrounds. And as a lover of beauty, fashion, beauty, expression of self, I just kept wanting to see something that incorporated the travel element, like why beauty is the way it is in a certain city, or cultural elements, like what beauty means to a carnival versus a wedding season versus a Nigerian wedding or Essence Fest, and put those things all together and also highlight the artists behind these spaces, highlight the history and the culture behind these spaces. And that's really how glam culture was birthed. And like I said, it's honestly based on my lived experience. I travel a lot, I see these things a lot, I have these conversations a lot. And one fascinating thing after I'd made Black Beauty Effect, like people were like, are you gonna make Black British Beauty Effect and Black Canadian Beauty Effect? And I was like, oh, I didn't really see it like that, but I do want to do stories of beauty in these places. And that was really glam culture, and that's what it's been for me. And so, yes, we have the first season coming to YouTube, which I'm very excited about too, because it's been a little while since I put like a larger production onto my YouTube channel. And when I started my YouTube channel, that's what it was for me. It was like, I wanted a space where I always remind people, I'm like, it's quite literally your channel. It's still, and even from a television and film perspective, like our industry is it changes so often, and there's so many ins and outs, and people are buying, people are not buying. And the one constant that you have as a creative is you're like, I have the internet, I have social media, I have my YouTube channel, I have these spaces, these platforms that I've created that I could tell my own story. And that's really like my producing partner and I, we kept going back and forth because we were really originally like building it out, and we were like, we're gonna go really to the streaming market. And then we were like, but I just want to see, like, let's put it here, let's do this instead, let's really go for it here. And so that's why we're very excited, because we're like, it not only gives us creative freedom, that control, but we're also telling a story that is very unique. You see travel and food very frequently. You've seen stories about beauty. Obviously, I have one. I don't think you've seen ones that kind of bring the whole thing together.
Bring it together,
And so,
I think that's beautiful. I love the concept, and I'm so excited to watch.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be such a great story, and I think it's such a great concept as far as, like you were saying, like combining like beauty and culture and travel and everything like that.
Yeah, because everybody has a beauty moment in their life, right? Like me in the entertainment business, I get a lot of beauty moments. I get to do glam a lot. I get to dress up a lot. But I realized I'm like, my friends, when carnival season happens, that's their glam moment. Like that's when they get to be in the costume and the makeup and figuring out what that is and having that beauty season. Or like I said, like certain, depending on your ethnic background, like the wedding is like this thing. It's like, weddings in general are a thing. And sometimes for some women, that is the moment that you literally get to be in full glam and fully represent yourself in every way.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, like people don't realize that the concept of glam, we all get to experience it every day. We all get to have like a glam moment. But if it's like, what if you kind of flip the script a little bit and really highlight what that means for people and why these moments really matter, what they look like. And then also the artists, like I said, I'm a lover of the prose.
Yeah.
And so I wanted a space to just be able to highlight these pros. And so I'm the host of it and getting to sit down and just talk to the people that I know, which is amazing. But yeah, it's fascinating. Even like when we go into like our first episode is on New York, and I go into it with knowing, okay, this is what I think, how I would describe New York glam culture, and then the people just describe it for you. It's like the whole time people called it a bold city, or like you can just express yourself in any kind of way. They're like, it's got a unique thing, the diversity of the city. We didn't have to prompt that out of anyone. Everybody explained that to us, and you're like, yeah, that is the glam culture of New York City. In comparison to a city like LA, people don't describe LA like that. It's not a bold, big expression glam culture city. But it has its own vibe, its own energy, and that glam here in Los Angeles is just as important as it is in New York. But you don't get to hear the differences, and so that's what this series is really about, kind of breaking it down, and hopefully inspires people to also take a look at their own glam and why their glam is their glam, and then also like being inspired by other cities and being like, oh, I want to kind of incorporate a little bit of this. Or when I go to London, I'm actually going to focus more on my makeup because makeup is such a thing there. And kind of go from there. So I'm excited for it.
That is so cool. I love that concept. And I want to talk more about it, but I want to get us into this decorating.
Okay.
So what I'm going to have you do, honestly, this part is really up to you to express however you want to.
Okay.
This part is supposed to be kind of like a flower crown type vibe.
So
I
feel that.
Have fun with it, place the flowers as you want to.
Okay.
And just have fun, like while we're chatting.
No problem.
And yeah, that's it really. I was going to give you the direction, but then
I was like, no, I get it. Yes.
So we have some roses and some other pretty
love
things.
this. I love flowers. I'm like a real, I'm like, you ever just want to make me happy, just get me some flowers.
Me too, girl.
Like,
me too.
If you ever just are like, oh, I don't know what to do for her, I'm like, just flowers. Just get me flowers.
Same.
I never get enough of flowers.
I wanted to know, since you are someone who often, produces your own content and is, I guess, just a producer in general, how do you decide, what projects to go for full force and which ones to maybe leave in the notebook? How do you decide that?
Truth is they all come out of the notebook at some point. And really the determining is when and how. And I think sometimes life tells you without you having to worry about it. Like there will be a moment if you have a concept that's been living in your head and somebody will bring up something, you'll be like, wait a second, I've been thinking about something like that. Actually, I'm gonna run with that. Ease, I always think, like some things happen with real ease. Like, and you don't have to do too much, and that's the determining factor that like now's the time for this thing. Some other projects that you'll be like, well, this move is so big and requires so much focus, and when I do it, it will make all the other little ideas that are in my notebook easier. So I've got to go for this big thing. And I just think it's knowing that. I think there's an intuitive thing about being a creative that you just start to, you trust your intuition. You start to say, okay, every idea here will live. They will see the time of day. But some of them need more time than others. I've only recently as well gotten into kind of feeling satisfied with knowing within my year, maybe I'm only focusing my energy on 3 projects and not 10. And not feeling like, oh, I've got to do all 5 or every single thing needs to have some kind of, I'm like, no, this year is for these 3. And I will treat myself often really like a business that's being audited, like really looking at like, okay, even though as an individual, as a creative individual, why do I think these 3 need the focus? What is it about these 3 things that I think this is the timing now? And how can I start this journey with this thing? And what does that kind of look like? And so that's usually what happens to me. But I am a believer that every single idea I write down will see the light of day. It really is a determining of life circumstance, trends, what's popular, what's not, all of those kinds of things. And then at the same time too, and I have a few creatives that I work with like this that are believers of like, once you put the idea out there, now you gotta have to work on it because there's like parallel thoughts, somebody else may be working on it.
Yeah.
And like, you gotta do it now. I'm a believer in that too, but I'm also a believer in being like, it's also kind of mine. Like, like my version is my version, and I don't have to worry that somebody else is doing something. I just have to think how to do this. And I've had some years where there was a project that you really want to see happen, and it's just not. And so I'm not going to be frustrated with this. I'm going to put it over here. And then there's other times that you're like, actually, this thing is happening with such ease that I think this is the time for this one.
Yeah.
Or other times when no, I got to fight through it. I've got to fight through the blocks, and I've got to just keep going with this idea because I can't let it go. I'm a real believer in like, if the idea just keeps like haunting you, it's like, it shows up in your dreams, it shows up in your day, it just shows up in your week.
Yeah.
It's time to work on that thing.
Yeah.
It's time to put some effort into it because it keeps asking you to do that. So,
yeah. I'm a believer in when you step out in faith to do something, the rest will be provided.
Yes.
Like, not necessarily literally in an easy way. You still have to, go out and find what's for you and find everything like that. But like for me with this show, that's been my most recent, your big creative. My big thing right now. Yeah. And I was so nervous to do it. When I started it, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna happen. I don't have a space, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, but I was like, but I have this idea and this like burning thing in me that's like, you need to do this right now. And so I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but then I found the space, and then I found the videographer. And then I found the this and the that, and it wasn't even just like, me having to do everything on my own. It was like people wanting to invest in me.
Help you.
So like even with like my logo for the show, I was like, oh, we need a logo. I was talking to my friend about it to see if he could help me with it. And he was like, I got you. Like, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, well, how much? And he was like, I got you.
Oh, wow.
Like, and that to me, like, I could cry talking about it right now because things like that have happened to like put this in place.
It's confirmation.
Yes, absolutely. That people see the potential in you, or even people, when I ask like you to come on the show and they're like, I'll be there. You know what I mean? Like, I want to support you. So yeah, I totally agree.
It is, and it is, unfortunately, I always think for like some creatives who get a little bit stuck that I'm like, yes, until you kind of now put the wheels in motion, you don't know what's going to come to you. So if you did focus your energy on being on the things that you didn't have, and then just like made it essentially make you very stifled and very like, oh, I can't move because I don't have the money and I don't have this and I don't have that, you wouldn't have known that all these things would kind of just find their way to you.
Exactly, yep.
And so, that's the scary part of the process. You have to do in order to see the other side of this thing. And that part of, I think, being a creative, at least in my experience, has never ended. I always have to be just kind of on it and try and ask and talk and say it. And my friends probably think I'm crazy. I'm constantly being like, I'm just gonna say this idea to you because I'm gonna be doing this thing. But at the same time, the ones that have been with me, they always say, they're like, yeah, like Andrea's an executor. She executes on her ideas.
I got this. We have so much in common.
Hello.
Literally, the first time I filmed this with one of my friends, she said to me, and I'll never forget this. She was like, Aubree, I feel like you're like a master of execution.
Really?
Yes, I swear. And that was something that like will stick with me forever. When it comes to this and like my classes and just like putting things together. It's like, I think one of my biggest strengths.
Absolutely.
And what I'm so proud of.
Oh my gosh, no, same. Own the title, because I actually genuinely think it's one of my greatest strengths that I really do execute on the things I want to do. Whether it could be a girls' dinner or it could be a series on YouTube, I'm gonna do the thing. And it's the more I've done it, the more confidence I build in being that girl. And so I always say to my friends, like anybody that's hesitating or thinking about it, I'm always like, unfortunately, you're going to have to try it. Until, and then only then will you learn, oh, I didn't need that thing, or I spent too much money here, or that wasn't the right person to hire, we should hire somebody else, or that was the right person to hire, whatever it may be. But you kind of have to go. But I also really do own the, like, yes, being a somebody who is able to execute, who has the confidence to execute, is a specific skill set, and not everybody has it. And so when you do have it and you recognize that you have it, you just got to keep doing it.
Yes.
And so that's been me, and I trust my intuition. I trust my I trust the universe will tell me when certain things is the time now, and when other things, no, not yet. This is great, but not quite. Or it still needs a little bit of bubbling. It still needs a bit of cooking still. Yeah. You know, because you have some ideas like that. I say this all the time. I'll have like maybe just a scene just repeated in my brain, like this image, and I'll think, okay, but I don't have the beginning. I don't have the end. I just have the middle. So let me just also take enough time in this little while to dream up what I think those things are, or let it come to me naturally, whatever it may be. But yeah, I lean very heavy on my intuitive nature for knowing when it's time to do something or not.
Yeah, same girl. That is so cool. Well,
I know, I think I'm done.
I think so too. It looks beautiful.
So does yours.
Thank you. I think it all came together. Yay. I love this design. I love like the women with the flowers.
Absolutely. It's stunning.
I love it. I want to ask you a couple little fun questions as we like end this off.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's one thing that your fans would be surprised to know about you?
Maybe that I'm a shorty. I always think people just think you look taller on TV, like just in general. They just don't think you're as short as you are.
Yeah,
so I think that if they, in general, that you're just petite. So.
Okay, if you could have dinner with any 3 people, living or dead.
Oh my goodness, I did. Oh my goodness. Beyonce. It's got to be one of them. Even though I don't think she'd have much to say at the table, because I think she's a quiet girl when she's not on stage. In like the sweetest way. I like really feel that about her. Who else? You know what? For a little razzle dazzle, probably somebody like James Baldwin, especially like in a time like now. I can only imagine what the conversation would be and how like enlightened you would feel.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then probably a third person, my mom. I love my mama.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So, yeah.
That's so sweet. I'm going to answer that one too, just because mine are kind of similar.
Yeah.
Actually, they're exactly the same. Actually, so not Beyonce, but Rihanna.
Hello.
But
that would be a great person.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone for the culture and history and something. I'm not sure who.
Yes.
But somebody.
But somebody to give that context, especially in the age we're in now. I could only imagine like the people who were speaking out back then.
Yeah.
What their thought process would be right now.
Yeah.
It'd probably really enlighten you to just that history repeats itself, and they'd probably give you some like, And then who would your third be?
My grandma.
Oh,
yeah. I love her and I miss her.
Yeah.
I would do anything.
Love that.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's so funny that ours were literally like the same. Anyway. Okay, what is your go-to as far as media right now? Movies, TV, music?
I'm kind of a mix of everything. I consume shows though really fast. I won't lie. I always tell people I'm like I can watch a show in a day. Like I'm just like keep the episodes rolling kind of person, because I'm doing a lot in watching, if that makes sense. So, but then I'm also like I'm like a long walk kind of person, and I love a lot of music on when I'm doing that, or like an audiobook, like so, like just something going the whole time. But I'm like my go-to, it's probably a mix of both. It's probably like music, because like I said, like my self-care is like a 3-mile walk a day, and in that time I tend to, it's like all the music is very important for like whatever the vibe is going to be. If I want it to be chill, if I want it to be nostalgic. I've been very nostalgic these days. I keep putting on like 2003 hip hop list, 2005. I'm like very nostalgic. But then at the same time, like my evening, I like to unwind with a show. Currently, I'm watching The Morning Show and Slow Horses on Apple TV. I love Apple TV in general. And I recently watched something, oh my gosh, really quick on Netflix too, and I was sad that I watched it so quick. Oh, I can't remember. I consume too quick. I wish I could slow down, but I watch shows very, like...
I'm the opposite in that way.
I speed through.
Yeah, I watch a lot of the same stuff over and over and over again.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like a very specific thing. It's funny. I wish I could do that. I actually watch it one time and I never go back.
I wish I could say it the same.
And I wish that I would. Like, I wish sometimes I'd be like, let's relax into this, watch it again. I never go back.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I can sit and watch something and I'll rewind, like, I'm like, oh wait, what'd they say? Like, as if I haven't seen it 20
I missed
times.
that part.
Right, yeah. Okay, last one, since I know you're a beauty girl. What are your beauty big 3 products?
Oh, okay. So I do this every single day. L'Oreal has a Glotion. You could get it at anything. You can get it at CVS, anywhere like that. That to me is like a non-skip product. Like whether you're wearing a lot of makeup or not, it's just like, it's perfect. And like people are always like to me, oh, you're so glowy. And I'll be like, it's this. I think they want me to say something else. Like, I don't know, like I'm just doing inner work. I'm like, I'm not. I am literally using this. Honestly, this is kind of controversial for people, but I am still like a lash extensions girl. People are not always for that. Like some people love like their own mascara. They love to use a strip lash. I still love my lash extensions. I go to a girl in LA that I just think is the best. And when I'm without, I feel sad.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those where it's like where people are like, oh, that's still like 2016 makeup. I'm like, if we go out of lash stuff, I'll be like, sorry guys.
Yours look beautiful though.
I'm on 2020 makeup. So, and then honestly, probably water. I honestly think your makeup sits best when your skin and your body and everything is taken care of. Yeah. And beauty starts in and then goes out. Like when we are seeing somebody, we're like, wow, she looks so beautiful. It's really, we're seeing me work. We're seeing like, wow, she's taking care of herself. She looks healthy. She looks this, she looks that. Your hair, your skin needs water. And so I'm like, consume a lot of water, wash your hair, do things like that, and you will see the results. And so for me, I can always tell when I haven't had enough water, like within my day. My skin will feel tight, my hands will feel tight. I'll be like, oh, the water is unnecessary. If I'm traveling, I'm guzzling a lot of water. And I have a few girlfriends who are models and they do a lot of campaigns, and the big thing for them for their beauty is water. And so I'm like, yeah, water for everything.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to get on to trying the cake.
Hey now!
Yes, the part we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna try the cake, reset a little bit, and then we're gonna get on to that.
Okay.
Alrighty, Andrea.
Yes.
Okay, now on to the best part. We're gonna cut this cake and try it.
I can't wait.
Me too. I haven't done cookies and cream for anyone yet, so.
I'm so glad to know that that's actually one of your favorites.
Yes, girl. I make it like every year for my birthday.
I think that's so good. I was like, not everybody loves a good cookies and cream moment.
I don't know why. It's the best one.
It's the best one.
Okay, we can dig in.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Just perfect.
That is good.
Perfect.
That is good.
And also the vanilla cake? Hell yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Everything is homemade, of course.
Oh my gosh.
I don't believe in box mix.
Oh my gosh. Wait, the cake alone. It's perfect.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. You get one for yourself to take home.
It's just like it's my birthday.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Once you said cakes, I was like, oh, I have to come. I'll be there.
So I'm so happy to have you here. This has been so much fun for me.
Great.
I have a little something for you.
What?
Yes.
Besides the cake?
Yes, besides the cake.
I'm like, I feel like I've actually gotten a gift.
This is for you.
Yeah, and I said I love flowers.
Here you go.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful bouquet.
You're welcome. I want to get something kind of fall inspired.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I actually said to myself today, I was like, fall is actually my true season. I was like, I love fall, and this is confirming this for me. So thank you.
You're welcome. Of course. Thank you so much for being here with me today. This has meant so much to me.
Oh, love this.
I appreciate. I could never say thank you enough.
Oh,
honestly,
thank
just
you.
for being here and for supporting me and showing love. I'm so grateful.
This is great. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, I love this.
All right,
Cake
guys.
and flowers. Wow.
Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for watching and following along. Make sure to tune in 2 weeks from now so you can catch the next week's episode. And please make sure to follow Aubree's Cakery on Instagram as well as Cake and Company _ on Instagram. And please follow Andrea at
Andrea Lewis on Instagram, Andrea Lewis channel on YouTube, and it's basically my name everywhere else. So yeah.
All right, thanks guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Yay! Actually, this cake is delicious.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. And the flowers? What is this, my birthday?